Well, if Senator Moreno would be open perhaps to a couple of questions, just to clarify the record, because we had a bit of Washington play acting just a moment ago. Senator Moreno, is it accurate that you and virtually every other Republican have voted 14 times to reopen the government?
We voted 14 times to end debate so that we could actually vote to open the government, yes.
And is it accurate that Senator Rosen and virtually every other Democrat has voted 14 times to keep the government closed?
Okay, so here's what happened. A judge just lost it in court. Like, completely went off. And it's all because of a secret tape. Yeah, a recording that nobody was supposed to hear. And now it's public record. Now everyone can listen to it. And what's on this tape? Oh, just Trump's inner circle. His closest advisors, basically confessing to serious crimes. Can you believe this? Here's what happened. Trump's legal team walks into court, thinking they've got everything under control. They're confident. They're ready. And then boom, prosecutors drop this recording. A secret tape. And the stuff on this tape is damaging. Like really damaging. We're talking direct confessions. We're talking people in Trump's orbit, admitting to things that could tie Trump himself to felony charges. And the judge heard this tape and absolutely erupted. Like the courtroom went silent. Trump's attorneys tried to object. They fought hard to keep this recording out of evidence. But the judge wasn't having it. The judge invoked something called the crime fraud exception, which basically means, yeah, if you're using legal privilege to cover up crimes, that privilege doesn't apply anymore. So this tape, it's evidence, and it's now part of the public record. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, join our free newsletter. We'll send the news straight to your inbox every day. Just click the link in the description to join. And if you just want to support what we're doing, join us, be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video.
Has voted to open the government. So has John Fetterman and Angus King from Maine. So I applaud 3 Democrats for actually having the decency, the humanity to be able to pay government workers, pay our military, provide Head Start, provide SNAP benefits.
And is it accurate that Democrat Senator John Fetterman has repeatedly said this is a Democrat shutdown caused by Chuck Schumer and the Democrats?
Think about that for a second. Public record. Anyone can access it. The media is going to play it. Prosecutors are going to use it. And Trump's team, they're in complete meltdown mode right now because this recording doesn't just implicate random staffers. We're talking about Trump's inner circle, the people closest to him, the ones he trusts, and they're on tape confessing to criminal acts. Legal experts are calling this one of the most damaging pieces of testimony yet. One analyst said this recording has direct links to felony charges for Trump. Not hypothetical charges, not maybe charges, felony charges, the kind that could actually stick, the kind that prosecutors dream about. And here's the wild part. Trump's team didn't see this coming. They were blindsided. The tape was revealed during the trial, and it caught everyone off guard. His attorneys scrambled. They objected. They argued. But the judge shut it down. The judge said this recording is admissible and then proceeded to criticize Trump's closest advisors for their role in whatever's on that tape. So now we've got chaos, complete chaos in the MAGA camp, because this isn't just bad for Trump legally. This is bad politically. This is bad for trust. This is bad for party unity. Trump's trying to maintain control in his second term. And now his own inner circle is on tape confessing to crimes? Come on. How do you spin that? And you know what makes this even crazier? This isn't the first time Trump's been burned by secret recordings. Remember the Access Hollywood tape? Remember the classified documents, audio, where Trump's talking about sensitive materials he shouldn't have? There's a pattern here, a clear pattern of Trump and his team getting caught on tape, saying things they absolutely should not be saying. But this time feels different because this time it's not just Trump on tape. It's his advisors, his inner circle, the people who are supposed to protect him, and they're the ones confessing, they're the ones creating legal jeopardy, and the judge made sure everyone knows it. Prosecutors confirmed that this tape includes a direct confession to serious criminal acts by at least one top advisor, and when that news broke, the political and legal world went into upheaval. Social media exploded, cable news went wild, and Trump's allies, they're scrambling to do damage control, but how do you control damage when the confession is right there on tape for everyone to hear? This is a massive moment. This courtroom eruption, this harsh judicial rebuke, this public exposure of inner circle confessions, it all threatens Trump's ability to keep his team together. It threatens his ability to sway undecided voters. It threatens his ability to deflect attacks from prosecutors who now have this recording as evidence. And here's why this matters right now. Trump's in his second term. He's facing mounting legal trouble. Every legal setback shapes public opinion. Every courtroom moment becomes a media narrative. And this is a nightmare scenario for Trump, because it's not just about him anymore. It's about the people around him. And when your inner circle is on tape confessing the crimes, that's a problem that doesn't just go away. The timing couldn't be worse for Trump either. He's trying to push his agenda. He's trying to show that his administration is effective. He's trying to prove that all these legal battles are just distractions. But how do you call something a distraction when there's literal audio evidence of your advisors confessing to crimes? Like, how do you spin that to the American people? And the Republicans? Oh man, they're in a tough spot too, because they've spent years defending Trump, years saying these investigations are politically motivated, years claiming there's no real evidence, and now there's a public tape, with confessions. So what do they say now? Do they keep defending him? Do they distance themselves? Do they pretend they never heard the tape? So let's dig into what actually happened in that courtroom. Let's talk about what's on this tape. Let's talk about why the judge erupted. And let's talk about what this means for Trump moving forward. Because, trust me, this story is wild. This is the kind of courtroom drama that changes everything. And you're going to want to hear every detail. All right, so let's get into the details here. Because this courtroom moment, this wasn't just some routine objection that got overruled. This was a full judicial smackdown. The judge didn't just allow the tape into evidence. The judge went off on Trump's inner circle. The judge made it clear that what happened here, what's on this recording, is serious. And the way this all played out is honestly shocking. So here's the setup. Trump's on trial. Again, his legal team is fighting multiple cases at once. And in this particular trial, prosecutors had been hinting that they had something big, something that would change the entire trajectory of the case. Trump's attorneys knew something was coming, but they didn't know what. And when prosecutors finally revealed it, when they played this secret tape in court, the room went silent. The recording features at least one person from Trump's inner circle. We're talking top advisors, the people who have direct access to Trump, the people who make decisions, the people who strategize. And on this tape, they're confessing, not hinting, not implying, confessing to serious criminal acts, the kind of acts that carry felony charges. Now, Trump's attorneys immediately objected. They argued that the recording was protected by attorney-client privilege. They said it shouldn't be admissible. They fought hard to keep it out. But here's where the judge stepped in. The judge invoked the crime fraud exception. And if you don't know what that is, let me break it down real quick. Attorney-client privilege is supposed to protect conversations between lawyers and their clients. It's supposed to be sacred. But, and this is a big but, if you're using that privilege to plan or cover up a crime, it doesn't apply anymore. That's the crime fraud exception. And the judge said, yeah, this recording falls under that exception because the people on this tape aren't just talking. They're confessing to criminal activity. And you don't get to hide behind privilege when you're actively committing crimes. So the judge allowed the tape in, made it part of the evidence, made it part of the public record. And then the judge went further. The judge criticized Trump's closest advisors, called them out, made it clear that their actions, their confessions are unacceptable. And Trump's legal team, they were stunned, absolutely stunned. Legal experts immediately started weighing in. One expert called this recording one of the most damaging testimonies yet. Another said it has direct links to felony charges for Trump, not just his advisors, Trump himself, because if his inner circle is confessing to crimes and those crimes involve Trump, then prosecutors can use that tape to build a case against him. And that's exactly what they're planning to do. And here's where it gets even more interesting. This tape wasn't just some random recording that prosecutors stumbled upon. This was strategic. Prosecutors knew they had this. They knew what was on it, and they waited for the right moment to drop it in court. They built up the tension. They let Trump's team think they were in control. And then boom, secret tape, confessions, game changer. Now let's talk about why this is such a big deal. Because you might be thinking, okay, a tape. So what? Trump's been caught on tape before. The Access Hollywood tape didn't stop him from winning in 2016. The classified documents audio didn't derail his second term. So why is this different? Here's why. This time, it's not just Trump on tape. It's his inner circle. The people he trusts, the people he relies on. And they're confessing, not defending, not denying, confessing. And when your own team is on tape, admitting to crimes, that's a level of legal jeopardy that's hard to escape. Plus, this recording is now public. Anyone can access it. The media is already analyzing it. Cable news is playing clips. Social media is going crazy. And every time someone hears that tape, every time they hear Trump's advisors confessing, it reinforces the narrative that Trump's administration is corrupt, that his team is criminal, that he's surrounded by people who break the law. And politically, this is a disaster. Trump's trying to maintain control in his second term. He's trying to push his agenda. He's trying to keep his party united. But how do you do that when your inner circle is on tape confessing to crimes? How do you maintain trust when the people closest to you are creating legal problems? Trump's allies are already in damage control mode. They're trying to spin this. They're saying the tape is out of context. They're claiming it's a political hit job. They're attacking the judge. But here's the problem. The tape is public. People can listen to it themselves. And when you hear someone confessing to crimes, context doesn't really matter. The confession is the confession. And let's not forget, this isn't happening in a vacuum. Trump's facing multiple legal battles right now, multiple investigations, multiple trials. And every time something like this happens, every time new evidence drops, it makes all his other cases harder to fight. Because prosecutors in other cases can point to this tape. They can say, look, Trump's inner circle confesses to crimes. That establishes a pattern. That shows intent. That proves corruption. So the ripple effects here are massive. This one tape, this one courtroom moment could reshape multiple cases against Trump. It could influence public opinion. It could hurt his poll numbers. It could make it harder for him to govern. Because every day this story is in the news is a day Trump's not talking about his agenda. He's talking about legal problems. He's talking about confessions. He's talking about chaos in his inner circle. And the judge made sure everyone understands the gravity of this. The judge didn't just allow the tape in and move on. The judge erupted. The judge called out Trump's advisors. The judge made it clear that this behavior is unacceptable. And that kind of judicial rebuke that carries weight, that sends a message, that tells prosecutors, yeah, you've got a strong case here. Now here's what most people are missing. This tape doesn't just implicate Trump's inner circle in abstract crimes. It ties them to specific criminal acts. We're talking serious felonies. And those felonies, they could directly implicate Trump. Because if his advisors are confessing to crimes that Trump ordered, or crimes that Trump knew about, or crimes that benefited Trump, then prosecutors can argue that Trump's responsible too, that he's part of the conspiracy, that he's guilty. And that's the nightmare scenario for Trump's legal team. Because they can't just defend Trump anymore. They have to defend Trump's entire inner circle. They have to explain away confessions. They have to argue that what sounds like a crime isn't actually a crime. And good luck with that when the confession is right there on tape. The other thing people aren't talking about enough is the political fallout within the Republican Party. Because there are Republicans right now who are probably thinking, do we really want to keep defending this guy? Do we want to tie ourselves to an administration where the inner circle is confessing to crimes on tape? And that creates fractures. That creates divisions. That makes it harder for Trump to maintain the kind of unified support he needs. And think about the voters, the undecided voters, the moderates, the people who might have been willing to give Trump a chance. They hear this tape. They hear these confessions. And what do they think? They think, yeah, maybe there really is something there. Maybe these investigations aren't just political witch hunts. Maybe Trump really does have a problem. So what does this mean moving forward? It means Trump's legal problems just got a whole lot worse. It means his inner circle is under intense scrutiny. It means prosecutors have a powerful piece of evidence that they're going to use in every way possible. And it means the public narrative around Trump, around his administration, around his second term just took a major hit because at the end of the day, this is about trust. Can people trust Trump when his own advisors are confessing to crimes? Can they trust his administration when the people running it are creating legal chaos? Can they trust his leadership when his inner circle is falling apart? Those are the questions voters are asking. Those are the questions the media is asking. And those are the questions Trump's going to have to answer. And here's the thing. Trump's really good at deflecting. He's really good at spinning stories. He's really good at claiming he's the victim. But how do you deflect when there's audio evidence? How do you spin a confession? How do you claim you're the victim when your own people are admitting to crimes? That's the challenge Trump faces now. And it's not a challenge that's easy to overcome. Okay, so let's break this down into simple points because there's a lot happening here and it's easy to get lost in the legal jargon and the political spin. But when you strip away all the noise, here's what's actually going on. Point 1, a secret tape was revealed in court featuring Trump's inner circle confessing to serious crimes. This isn't rumor. This isn't speculation. Legal experts confirmed that the tape includes a direct confession to criminal acts by at least one top advisor. And the judge allowed this tape into evidence, making it part of the public record. That means anyone can access it, anyone can listen to it, and anyone can use it. Point 2, the judge erupted in court, like really went off. The judge criticized Trump's closest advisors for their role in whatever's on that tape. And the judge invoked the crime fraud exception to allow the recording in, which basically means the judge believes the people on that tape we're using legal privilege to cover up crimes. That's huge, because it's not just about the confession anymore, it's about the cover-up. It's about the attempt to hide criminal activity behind attorney-client privilege. Point 3. Trump's legal team was blindsided. They didn't see this coming. They walked into court thinking they had control, and then prosecutors dropped this bombshell. And now Trump's entire inner circle is in meltdown mode, because this tape doesn't just create problems for the people on it, it creates problems for Trump, it creates problems for his administration, it creates problems for everyone in his orbit. Point 4. This recording has direct links to felony charges for Trump himself. That's what legal experts are saying, not just charges for his advisors, charges for Trump, because if his inner circle is confessing to crimes and those crimes involve Trump, then prosecutors can build a case that Trump's responsible, that he knew, that he ordered it, that he benefited from it, and that's exactly the kind of evidence prosecutors need to make charges stick. So why does this matter? Why should you care about some tape in some courtroom? Because this isn't just about legal drama. This is about Trump's ability to govern. This is about his credibility. This is about trust. Think about it. Trump's in his second term. He's trying to push his agenda. He's trying to maintain party unity. He's trying to show strength. But how do you do that when your inner circle is on tape, confessing to crimes? How do you maintain credibility when the people closest to you are creating chaos? How do you ask voters to trust you when your own advisors are admitting to criminal acts? And politically, this is a nightmare, because Trump's opponents are going to use this tape in every way possible. They're going to play it in ads. They're going to reference it in speeches. They're going to use it to paint Trump as corrupt, as criminal, as unfit. And Trump's going to have to defend it. He's going to have to explain it. He's going to have to convince people that what sounds like a confession isn't actually that bad. Good luck with that. And let's talk about the broader context here, because this isn't the first time Trump's been hurt by secret recordings, the Access Hollywood tape, the classified documents audio. Now there's a pattern, a clear pattern of Trump and his team getting caught on tape, saying things they shouldn't say, doing things they shouldn't do. And every time it happens, it reinforces the narrative that Trump operates outside the rules, that he doesn't care about laws, that he surrounds himself with people who break the law. And that narrative, that's dangerous for Trump, because it makes it harder for him to claim he's being unfairly targeted. It makes it harder for him to say this is all a witch hunt. Because when your own advisors are on tape confessing, it's not a witch hunt anymore. It's evidence. Now let's talk about what comes next, because this story isn't over, not by a long shot. Prosecutors are going to use this tape in ongoing investigations. They're going to build cases around it. They're going to call witnesses to explain what's on it. And every step of the way, this tape is going to be front and center. Trump's legal team is going to fight back. They're going to argue the tape is out of context. They're going to claim it's inadmissible despite what the judge said. They're going to try to discredit the people on the tape. But here's the problem. The tape is public, the confession is clear, and the judge already ruled it's admissible, so Trump's team is fighting an uphill battle. And politically, this is going to hurt Trump's standing. Because every day this story is in the news is a day Trump's not controlling the narrative. He's not talking about his accomplishments. He's not talking about his vision. He's talking about legal problems. He's talking about confessions. He's talking about chaos. And that's not a winning message. Plus, this affects Trump's ability to keep his team together. Because if you're someone in Trump's orbit right now, you're watching this tape drama unfold and you're thinking, am I next? Is there a tape of me? Could I be the next one facing charges? And that kind of fear, that uncertainty, it breaks down loyalty. It makes people turn on each other. It creates paranoia. And that's exactly what prosecutors want. They want Trump's inner circle to fracture. They want people to start flipping. They want more confessions, more evidence, more tapes, because the more chaos there is in Trump's camp, the easier it is to build cases against him. So who benefits from all this? Well, prosecutors, obviously, they just got handed a massive piece of evidence. Trump's political opponents benefit. They've got new ammunition to use against him. The media benefits. This story is going to dominate headlines for weeks. But Trump doesn't benefit. His inner circle doesn't benefit. His administration doesn't benefit. And here's the kicker. This tape could influence other cases against Trump, because prosecutors in different trials can point to this confession. They can say, look, Trump's advisors admit to crimes. That establishes a pattern. That shows Trump operates outside the law. And that makes it easier to convince juries in other cases that Trump's guilty. So the ripple effects here are massive. This isn't just one courtroom moment. This is a turning point. This is the kind of evidence that changes everything. And Trump's going to be dealing with the fallout from this tape for months, maybe years. And let's be real here. Can you believe this is happening? Like, can you actually believe that Trump's inner circle is on tape, confessing to crimes, and that tape is now public record? It's wild. It's unprecedented. It's the kind of thing that would have seemed impossible a few years ago, but here we are. The other thing to consider is how this affects Trump's ability to hire good people. Because who wants to work for an administration where your colleagues end up on tape confessing to crimes? Who wants to take that risk? So Trump might find it harder to attract top talent, harder to fill key positions, harder to build the team he needs to govern effectively. And think about the international implications too. Foreign leaders are watching this. They're seeing Trump's inner circle confess to crimes on tape. They're seeing the chaos. They're seeing the legal problems. And what does that do to America's standing? What does that do to Trump's ability to negotiate? What does that do to our credibility on the world stage? It's not good. None of this is good. So what's the bottom line? The bottom line is this. A judge erupted in court because Trump's inner circle got caught on tape confessing to serious crimes. The judge allowed that tape into evidence, made it public record, and now Trump's facing a whole new level of legal jeopardy. His team's in chaos, his credibility's taking hits, and prosecutors have the kind of evidence they've been dreaming about. This story isn't going away. It's going to get bigger, it's going to get messier, and Trump's going to have to deal with it every single day, because when your own advisors are on tape confessing, you can't just spin that away. You can't just ignore it. You have to face it. And facing it, that's going to be brutal. The legal battles are going to intensify. The political attacks are going to multiply. The media coverage is going to be relentless. And through it all, that tape is going to be playing in the background, reminding everyone that Trump's inner circle confessed, reminding everyone that the judge erupted, reminding everyone that this is real. So buckle up, because this tape drama is just getting started. The judge made sure of that when the recording was allowed into evidence. The prosecutors made sure of that when they revealed it in court. And Trump's inner circle made sure of that when they got caught on tape confessing to crimes. This is the kind of story that defines a presidency, the kind that historians write about, the kind that people remember decades later. And for Trump, it's a nightmare that's not ending anytime soon. So yeah, stay tuned, because what happens next is going to be explosive. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss it.